Good morning. Good morning. It's 11 o'clock here in the West Country. Hello, how are you this morning? Hope everybody's all right. I'm just waiting for Amanda at the moment. She should be on in a minute. In the meantime, let's while we're waiting for her. Um, I've got to tell you some stuff really. Um, Government's in a mess again at the moment. I've been chucked off Twitter. I don't know if you've seen my remarks on Twitter about the cat and everything and other things, but I thought that was a bit funny. Um, Here we go. Um, Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. Thank you very much for joining me.
Can you hear me all right?
You look, I can, yes. Yeah, I can.
Excellent.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Brilliant. Amanda, tell everybody about yourself.
So, I am a holistic health and nutrition coach, myself a gut coach. I'm very passionate about gut brain connection and helping people to heal themselves from lifestyle illnesses or prevent them from coming on. I have suffered with lifestyle illnesses myself and healed my gut myself through the alternative therapies that I studied and found that worked for me. And I now have a passion to do that for other people. Alongside that, I am married for the second time to my husband, Andrew, and I'm a mum to my two daughters, Mia and Ellie, and about to become a grandparent at the beginning of November.
Well done. Congratulations and well done. Um, Many people will think, when you're talking about the guts and everything else, they get about weight loss. I don't know if you know much about me, but I was on television talking about weight loss and everything, and it's a big subject because at this moment in time, a lot of people are suffering with obesity, and what do you think about that? Do you, many people come to you and talk to you about obesity?
I think quite often obesity is an imbalance within the gut. A lot of people think that when you have obesity, it's because you eat too much. But with all of symptoms that our bodies give out when it's not balanced, it's quite often that you're not eating the right things for your individual body. So, and I think as well, it's about flooding your body with the nutrients it needs. And quite often, when I'm working with clients and they're struggling with weight from an excess weight point of view or obesity, as you said, it's quite often that they've got into a cycle of counting calories and focusing on numbers rather than actually listening to what their body needs. But that is also a skill, and actually as humans we quite often ignore the symptoms that our body kicks out because we don't understand what it's trying to say. So I think there's lots of different reasons for obesity, but I think it's actually working with the individual to find out what's going on for them and what the root cause of that is, so you can then understand what the symptoms are and help to heal. It doesn't mean that you're going to go down to a size 8 because we're not all meant to be like that. But if your body is getting the nutrients it needs, it will let go of any excess weight if it is excess. Or in my case, when I was struggling, I was underweight. I was still very malnourished, like some with obesity can be, but I needed to put the weight on rather than lose it. And my body allowed me to do that once I started giving it what it needed.
Yeah, totally right, totally right. Um, the trouble is with your kind of like job then. So say if somebody came up to you and said, right, Amanda, I need some help. Um, my gut is really hurting me. Keep eating. Walk through it with me, what you do. So if someone phones you up, hey, Amanda, need help, you know, take us through what you do.
So to begin with, I get you to fill out a consultation form that gives me an idea of what your lifestyle looks like now, what kind of things you're eating, how you sleep, your toilet habits are, what your hobbies are, how you relax, what balance means to you, because that means different to everybody. And just get a real picture of what you're looking like right now. Then we look at the wheel of life, and I get you to put down what your life you're like, where you're happy and where you're not quite focusing, and you decide what area you want to work on. Then, depending on where you are at, we either look at your mindset, so how you start your day, how you end your day, what self-love means to you, so what kind of things are you doing for yourself. We look at the gut-brain connection and what that actually is, so you get an understanding of your unique body and how that works and how it's connected. And then we also look at food choices, so depending on what's going on for you. So I will just speak for myself. I had to cut out all gluten and all dairy for a while because it was feeding the inflammation within that was causing my digestive issues. And it took a while for me to get my head around that because, again, as humans, we like to be comfortable. But through doing that, I managed to reduce the inflammation, doing the mindfulness, so the breath work and things like that I do with my clients as well, and create habits that worked for me. So that's how I work with my clients. We create habits and we work to 7 principles that I have found that work for me, and the majority of my clients, it works for them as well. So those 7 principles are just habit stacking and not doing them all at once, bringing them in bit by bit. But you focus on hydration, so making sure that your body's fully hydrated every day, eating clean, wholesome foods and supplementing where needed, sleeping 7 to 9 hours in complete darkness, making sure you move your body every day. And when I say that, I don't mean beasting yourself in the gym. It could be a little walk around a village that you live in. It could be a bit of yoga that you do for 10 minutes to stretch and just wake yourself up. Making sure that you do some gratitude, meditation, excuse me, and breath work. It's really important that we learn how to breathe properly. Doing something that you love every single day. And that could be reading, it could be watching a TV show that you don't particularly need to focus on. It can be spending time with friends, whatever it is for you, but spending time doing something that you love every day. And then making sure that you're having regular bowel movements as well. So you're keeping the gut nice and healthy. And when you can do those things, 9 times out of 10, you will find that balance within your lifestyle.
Brilliant. Very good. Very good. The trouble with me, when I was, oh gosh, about 5 or 6 years ago now, I was at a certain weight where I kind of like binging all the time on takeaways, on crisp, on Mars bars and everything. The trouble is, you know, do you think the problem comes down to ourselves, or is it something in our head, like our emotional state where we're about food all the time? Do you think about do you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I do. And I don't think it's the person's fault whatsoever. I think what it is when you're not feeding your body the right nutrients, our blood sugars spike. And if you're living off things like coffee, Mars bars, takeaways, processed foods like pizzas, cereals, and things like that, then your blood sugars rise and then they very dramatically drop really quickly. So then you feel like you need something to pick you up. And through doing this, you get into a cycle where your brain gets addicted to the sugars that are in the processed foods. And so even when you're not hungry, your brain's asking you for more. It's like a drug. And that is what goes on. So it's having that education around those foods. And to a certain degree, we do have to take responsibility once we're aware of that, because it's up to us to be disciplined enough then not to have those foods, knowing what's going on. And that is when you have to lean in, because it's challenging, because your body's saying, I want something. And I don't believe in deprivation, but if it's something that you're addicted to and it's actually causing you health issues by spiking your blood sugars and them not being stable, then that's when the issues arise. So we do have to take responsibility for what we're putting in our body, but we also have to become aware of the reasons for that to be able to understand what we need to do.
Yeah. What made you go into this sort of work? Was it because you were having problems?
It was because I was having problems, but also my youngest daughter had health problems as well. She was born with a hole in her heart, and then she was diagnosed with a condition called autoimmune neutropenia, which when I researched was a lifestyle illness. Now, she was only 5 years old at that point, so I was questioning how on earth could she have this, because I'm making the decisions for her at 5. I cooked from fresh. She got lots of exercise, but our home environment wasn't very healthy. And me and her dad split up a little while after. And when that happened, her health improved massively and taught me it was the environment that she was in, which is why I work with my clients in the way that I do now. It's not just about what you put in your body, it's the environment that you're in, it's the mindset, like how you're talking to yourself. And at the time as well, my background is in health and wellness. I was a beauty therapist and specialised in massage. And I was having more and more clients come in that were suffering with anxiety and depression. So through what my daughter was going through, it helped me to work on myself on a deeper level, help her heal, but also work with my clients in that way as well to help them heal and start really looking at the root causes of what was going on in their lives.
That's it. Some people don't look at the root causes in people's lives because you don't you never know what's going on behind closed doors, do you? And the trouble is
Yeah.
when there's a lot of things happening at home, you know, trouble is it does kind of like affect your young ones, or even it affects yourself.
Yeah, no, massively. It affects everybody. And, when it's young ones, they can't take control because they're being brought up by you. So they're in an environment that you're choosing for them. And again, it kind of comes down to us as adults being responsible and realizing how it affects us as well as how it affects those little ones. Because at the end of the day, we're leading by example.
Yeah, yeah, you do. Yeah. Um, let's talk about. I do want to. Do you get a lot of women than men who kind of like seek help you?
I used to work with predominantly women, but I am seeing more and more men come on and want to work with me now and actually help themselves heal as well. It used to be that I would work with women, and if they were in relationships, the guy would see what they were doing and follow suit. But now I do have lots of men that come and say, actually, can you help me?
Right. Okay. What is unique of your business? Why should people kind of like contact you?
Because I work with you as a whole being, I look at you on a mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual level. We have to have that spiritual side to have a belief in ourselves that we can change things. And you can't just focus on the mental or the physical. You have to look at both because they're both entwined. So a lot of my clients that have anxiety, for instance, or depression also have digestive issues, which is irritable bowel syndrome or Crohn's or colitis and things like that, which is seen as physical, and vice versa. If I have clients coming to me that say they have digestive issues, and I've suffered with this myself when I had my irritable bowel syndrome, they have anxiety, they feel stressed, they don't sleep, and that's all to do with your mental health. So I believe that I work with people in healthcare rather than medicine care. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have medicine, it can be a tool, but we need to be looking at things that nourish our bodies in an alternative way to really help our health. And we can only do that if we're looking at ourselves as a whole person.
Totally agree. Well done. Well done. Good question. Good answer. Sorry. Um. The. Sorry, I've lost my page now. Um. Sorry about this. When do you do exercise with your clients too? Do you kind of like do some sort of fitness with them, or what do you actually?
I don't personally do fitness with them, but what I will do is share links to different yoga, qigong, things like that. If I think that a client would be good going into a gym, then I will, if they're not near me, I will research or tell them the kind of things that they need to look at. But for instance, I work with people in America because I work over Zoom, so I can't always be there with them. And I'm not specialist in exercise. So yoga, doing qigong or just general stretching, yes, I can do that with clients if they want me to. But if they want to really get into different things, I can share apps with them that they can do at home, that I do myself, or I can recommend that they go in a gym or whatever exercise it is that they need. But even going for a walk, a swift walk, is, it's about moving your body and helping your digestive system. So there's different ways that I can recommend things. And I suppose if a client asked me to, they never have, to be fair, but if a client asked me to do some yoga with them, I'd quite happily do that because I practice it myself anyway.
Brilliant. Well done. How do you deal with work stress? Because you probably listen to quite a lot of people with their problems, what they're going through and everything. How do you kind of like deal with the stress, and how do you calm down?
So for me, I don't really very often get frustrated or angry anymore. I've really learned how to, I suppose, love myself really. So I am strict with how I start my day. So my day personally starts with moving my body. So this morning it was yoga. Yesterday it was a little bit of weights and strength work. I always do breath work. So I'm a massive fan of Wim Hof. I journal. So I always practice gratitude. And then I always have at least 10 minutes silent time where I ask myself what's going on within right now for me, so I can be connected to myself within. When I go to bed at night, I sometimes have time where me and my husband just chill out. We watch a bit of TV. I might read a book, or sometimes I have a Shakti mat, which is like an acupressure mat, and I will lay on that for 20 minutes, put myself into relaxation, and then go to bed and sleep. And if I actually start and end my day like that, I can really handle whatever's thrown at me in the day because I've started it off in a calm way and I've finished it in a calm way. I think when you are stressed or you're feeling overwhelmed, it's quite often because you haven't planned like your day. So I'll plan any tasks that I have to do the night before. But I also think it's, if you're jumping out of bed, jumping in the shower, not got time for breakfast, maybe pick up a coffee and run out the door, you're already in that stressed state. So it's really bookending your days, I believe, is really, really important.
Hmm. What life lessons have you had to learn the hard way?
Ooh.
Sorry about these questions.
No, it's fine. So life lessons I've had to learn along the way. Okay, so I was bullied all the way through school, from when I started to the day that I left, because I have a haired lip. I went through a divorce, which I think if anybody's gone through a divorce will understand, it totally turns your world upside down. Having two children, my girls have taught me so much. My youngest, especially, because alongside having the illnesses that she's had, she also struggles with mental health and has been in mental health units. And that's been huge lessons on how to stay grounded and calm and step back, which is quite hard sometimes when it's your children and you have to step back and leave them to do what they've got to do. You know, she's an adult now. And I think COVID actually taught me a lot of lessons. I lost a very dear friend just before COVID. She went away on holiday and never came back. And she was young, so that was a lesson. I think if we look at our lives, there's lessons in everything that we do. We just see the big ones as those kind of things. And I think actually going self-employed and working with the clients that I work with has been a huge life lesson for me as well, because you have to have a totally different mindset.
You come over spiritual. Are you spiritual?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have a faith?
I'm Christian, but I also do love the Buddha as the model that it is. I love yoga, so I know some people would say that if I'm Christian, I shouldn't be doing those kind of things. But for me, it's actually doing and enjoying what it is for me. And spiritual for me isn't about religion. It's about being guided by myself within for what I love to do and what I enjoy, I guess. And that is a mix of different religions, I suppose. I like parts of Christianity. But yeah, I'm a very spiritual person. But for me, that's a faith in myself, knowing that I can be guided by what my body needs. It tells me.
Yeah. You come over. Yeah. I'm a Christian too, so that's why I call it Crossroads Podcast UK. Um, but the trouble is, we walk our own lives, don't we? And no one can tell us what we should believe and what we should do. At the end of the day, it's the way that we live it. What's your biggest achievement so far?
My biggest achievement so far, I think from a mental and physical point of view, it was walking 27 miles for a charity last year, which was very mentally challenging.
Well done.
Thank you. And I think really probably being a mum and actually managing to wade my way through all of the challenges with the
Yeah.
girls, being the different personalities that they are as well. And then I suppose really the biggest achievement is actually finally being comfortable with who I am and living life on my terms and doing what I want to do. And as you've just said with Christianity, God made each one of us unique. So he just wants us to be happy. And I think it takes a long time to get to being comfortable in your own skin sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. Would you mind if I actually ask you some funny questions?
No, of course not. Go on.
Right. Okay. So, if you were on a desert island, who would you take with you and why? Some people, when I ask these questions to some people, they say, right, they take their phone, book, and something else, and they say, I'll leave the husband at home. So, be careful what you say.
Well, I'm totally the other way around. I would take my husband because he supports me in everything I do, no matter what. And I just love being around him. So I would take my husband, as cheesy as it might sound to people.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, yeah. We do all these questions just to get to know you. That's all.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fine.
where's it to? Yeah. If you won £1.5 million on the lottery, what would you buy with it?
I think I would invest a fair bit of it. And I think I would probably give some to charity. And then myself and my husband keep talking about going and living in a van for a bit so we can be more in nature. So I'd probably buy a van and just do it.
I like it when you say, "I'm going to buy a van and just do it." That's a positive way to go. Well done. How do you show your family you love them?
Being present and being with them, giving them hugs and sitting and listening to them when they need that emotional support.
Right. Okay. Who's most annoying out of you or your husband?
Probably me, because I'm
Right.
always bouncing with energy.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. And do you or your husband sing in the shower?
Yeah, I do sometimes. I don't think I've ever heard him sing in the shower. Don't very often sing in the shower though. Usually in the kitchen, dancing around, and actually quite often making up my own little songs.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. Are you into? That's the next question actually. What is your favorite? Sorry. What is your favorite kind of music?
That's quite a difficult one for me because I love so many different kinds of music. But I think probably rock, quite like the Foo Fighters, Killers, those kind of bands.
Right. Okay. Um, do you believe that? Sorry. Do you believe time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time?
No, it's absolutely not wasted time. We're supposed to take time out for ourselves. Time is whatever we choose it to be. So if we tell ourselves it's wasted, if we tell ourselves we're procrastinating, then that's exactly what we're doing. But if we tell ourselves that we're taking time out to fill up our cups, that's what we're doing.
Okay, last question, and this is the it gets everybody.
Okay.
Um, okay. Now, was see. So, you're walking along the road, and all of a sudden, there's £10 note on the floor. Um, would you pick it up, walk on, pick it up, or give it to the person, chase the person who dropped it?
Pick it up and chase the person that dropped it if they were there.
Well done. Well done. Okay, I don't know why they put these questions out, but I ain't got a clue. Um, so with your kind of work then, and if people want to contact you, how can they contact you?
So they can find me on social media. I have an Instagram account, which is Purposefully Nourished. I also have a LinkedIn account, which is Amanda Whitehead, or they can go to my website, which is www.purposefullynourished.com. And that tells you all the ways that I can work with you and also has articles and blogs on there as well.
Brilliant. Don't forget, guys, what we do is we stick all Amanda's information up in a bit. You'll also be able to listen to it on radio later around about 2 o'clock this afternoon, this interview. Amanda, I would love you to come back some other time. We can talk more about your business and talk about health and wellness and everything because I'm well into that. But I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed talking to you, and thank you for answering. The me on the podcast page. It was. I'm grateful that you did.
Thank you for having me, Steve. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Amanda. Bye bye for now.
Bye.